You know, it has been said that if you are too afraid of failing to start, well, then you've already failed. I mean, I think someone said that. I don't know who though. And if they haven't, I want you to quote me on that and make memes and stuff and, make me look smart to other people. Seriously though, a fear of failure is so devastating to your potential and all the great opportunities you have in this life. And in this video, I want to go through some areas of failure because, surprise, surprise, I am no stranger to it myself. And I think there are a few big fallacies, big myths about failing that hold people back. And by being afraid of failing, it's just not cool. I don't know what more I have to say. If you're afraid of failing, you're not going to get started. You're not going to take action. And I should clarify that. If you're afraid of failing, but you do it the same way, someone's afraid of a lion, but they still fight the lion, like in Gladiator, then that's cool. But if you're afraid of failing so much that you don't take action, you don't do anything, that is going to hold you back and lead to a life of total regret, to looking back 10 years from now and saying, well, wasted that decade. What's next? Let's daydream some more and never take action. And that is not what I want for you here on this channel. So let's look at 3 big myths about failing. Number 1, if you fail at working for yourself, you're going to lose all your money. Actually, that's not a myth. That one's true, and I did lose all my money completely, and that really sucked. But nonetheless, I'm still arguing for failing here and why it's not so bad. So, real myth number 1, that if you fail, you are going to lose your friends or the respect of colleagues, friends, or family. This one could not be further from the truth. I went through a brutal, brutal business failure that was fairly public in terms of the nature of my business and the networks I was in. And guess what? It only did good things for me. In terms of family and friends, as far as I know, and I'm like Ari Gold, I got people everywhere. I know everything going on. As far as I know, there was one guy I heard about who made kind of an off-the-cuff remark about me failing. And the guy works at a bank. I mean, come on, that's his own punishment there. And aside from that, I heard nothing really negative. On the positive side, I gained tons and tons of friends by going after my business. So I made all these different entrepreneurial friends that are to this day are still great friends. And as I went through the failure, none of them, to my knowledge at least, really lost any respect for me. I know this because when I restarted as a copywriter, I got offers to do partnerships, to work together, to help each other out, all this stuff right away. Rather than be kind of the guy with the plague who's like, oh, or the leper, that's the saying. Rather than being the leper that is, kicked out by going through failure, I think people had respect for it. They said, hey, you went for it, you went big, you failed. So what? We all do it. And if anything, I think I earned a lot of respect from at least the people that matter, right? Sure, if you go after your dream, which happens to be working for yourself or your own business, and you fail, you better believe the guy working at the bank who hates his life and is too scared to actually start his own business, of course he's going to look at you and say, oh yeah, that guy failed, haha. Because how else is he going to? He needs to protect his own ego because he doesn't have the guts to go after his own dream because he's too scared of failing because probably he hasn't watched this video, which he might be very offended by at this point. So the people who matter will not lose respect for you. If anything, you will gain more and more of their respect because people have a huge respect for people who take control of their own life and go after what they want. So that is myth, totally false. If you go after what you want, even if you do fail, and stick with me and I'm going to do my best to keep you from failing, but even if you do fail, you will gain friends, you will gain respect, and your networks will be better for it. The second myth about failing, I think, is people often look at working for themselves as like a one-time opportunity. You know the fallacy with like business, I've got it. I've got the one business idea that's going to make it for me, right? The reality is there are dozens, if not hundreds, of businesses and opportunities you could do throughout your life. And holding off for that perfect opportunity because you're scared of failing is not going to serve you at all. You are much better going for something and maybe failing, and then taking that knowledge, taking everything you've learned from that experience, and then going after something new. Because every year that you work for yourself, you'll learn more about yourself, you'll learn more about business, and you'll probably discover more opportunities. So rather than being left in a situation where you went for the perfect opportunity and failed, and then you're like, well, I used up that perfect opportunity. I guess for the rest of my life, I'll just hang out and play Xbox. Instead of that, you're going to find out that there's way better opportunities. Because think about it, when you're just starting out, you don't really know a lot. No offense if you're just starting out, but you don't, okay? It's like when the 14-year-old boy like gives his dad grief, like, Dad, you don't know anything about women. I know women more. Like, if my son ever tries that, he's getting a 1950s style, never mind. But because you don't know what you don't know, right? So when you're starting out, you don't really know that much about business. You might have book knowledge, you might have video knowledge, but a lot of that changes in reality. And this is a good thing because it means a year or two into business. Let's say you start working for yourself for 2 years and then you fail. And you got to start again. You got to try something else. You are going to be so much smarter 2 years in. You're going to have so much more people, like a much better network. I sound like Donald Trump now. So much more people, more people. You're going to have such a better network, and you're going to be in a situation where you're going to also have a lot of self-knowledge. One of the things that I found is going through a big failure, I gained a lot of wisdom. Like, I was much better at making decisions. Before, when I started the business, I had book knowledge. I thought I knew it all, but I was kind of a wise ass, and I didn't know the real world. And afterward, I was a lot wiser, a lot calmer. I could think things through a lot more and just became, I think, a better entrepreneur because of it. So rather than going for it and failing, meaning you missed your opportunity, if you go for it and fail, you're going to find twice as many opportunities on the other side. By going for it, you're going to meet new people, you're going to learn new things, and you're going to have way more opportunities on the other end. And the last myth that I think holds people back is that if they go for it and they fail, they're going to be left high and dry, just screwed and in a really bad spot. And often I think because it's an unknown spot, it's a lot scarier than the reality. So there's some truth to this. I mean, I mentioned before, when I went for it and failed, I was broke at the end. And I mean, I was that guy who went into Starbucks with like his own Starbucks branded teeth from home, just made at home rather than pay the $3 for tea there because I couldn't afford it. So I get the brokenness. And yes, you may have a rough patch if you fail. I'm not going to deny that. But to think of it as the end of the world, it's completely not. It's your next step in the opportunity. And very, very few successful entrepreneurs have not been in a tough phase or a down phase. And it's part of the journey. And so at the end of it, you could look at it like you're high and dry if you want to take that kind of negative attitude. But really, wherever you are right now, okay, you have a certain business network, you have certain amounts of knowledge, you have certain job opportunities, right, in terms of whatever job you have or could have. Let's say for 2 years you go work for yourself. Now, I will make this argument day and day and day again that if you work for yourself, you learn a lot more, a lot quicker than working for someone else. The amount of skills you pick up just in a few months and the breadth of skills, that I think that's a word, that you need to pick up on to just know all sorts of different things, you are going to be very in demand if you ever do need to get a job. Because a lot of the entrepreneurial skills that are important now, like internet marketing, tech side, sales, very in demand in all companies. So if you have that entrepreneurial side, you work for yourself, you learn how to be self-disciplined, self-motivated, learn things on your own, guess what? There are millions of people who would love to hire you, including me, because that's a great skill set and personality set to have developed. Now, I would not encourage you to quit and go back to a job, but I want to throw that out there where if you ever did, you're going to be more in demand than when you started your business. The other thing, let's say you want to do, which I would encourage you to do, is start another company, start something new. So for example, I started my business, which was like a newspaper type thing. Let's not get into the details now. And when it failed, I became a copywriter, freelance copywriter. So I went into this with a lot of knowledge. When I had the newspaper, that's when I'd read a few books about copywriting. I developed more sales skills. I had built a lot of the assets which helped me then be successful. So again, wherever you are now, 2 years from now, if you take 2 years to work for yourself, at the end of that, you're going to be in such a better position in terms of who you are. And that's going to open up so many more doors. So whether that means working for someone else or continuing to work for yourself, this myth of being high and dry, like, I'm screwed now, I went for it, it's total BS. You're going to be so much more better connected. You're going to be more educated, more wise, you're going to have more skills, and all that is going to open more doors. So yes, You might have a few months of being that guy in Starbucks with a tea he made from home that everyone kind of knows he made at home, but you live with it, you move on, and you open way more doors and way more opportunities. I can say right now, my life now is so much better than it would have been if that business had have succeeded and kept going. And I am so grateful that I kept going. That, when it did fail, I took all that knowledge and the skills and then, kept going and kept moving on with it. And so keep that in mind is, yeah, you might have ups and downs, but as long as you keep going, you're always developing yourself. You're always becoming better and you're always getting more opportunities because you're learning more and more about what's out there. So that's it. These are reasons that you should not be scared to fail. If anything, it sounds like you should fail. Heck, forget about succeeding. Go out there, start a business, and fail the heck out of it, all right? Fail miserably, come back to me in 2 years, and you'll be awesome. Thanks for watching this. If you've enjoyed this video, I make new ones Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if I was you, I would subscribe to the channel. Here, there'll be a thing where that woman's face is. There'll be like a picture of me that pops up. Click it, subscribe, catch my other videos. And in the comments below, is there something I missed? Is there a fear of failure? Is there a reason that's holding you back that I didn't address here? That you think, hey, all right, Dan, that was all great. Thanks a lot for your weird ass video. But you really missed this important point. If there is, share it below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Catch you in another one.